Hello everyone, intuitive and astrologer Lisa Salvatore here to talk to you about the upcoming Taurus full moon that takes place on November 15th and the surrounding astrology and energies. First things first, welcome if you are new here, and welcome back to all of my existing subscribers. It is lovely to have you here. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and be sure to turn on your notifications so that you are kept aware of any live streams that take place here on YouTube and also new uploads. As always, all of my information is in the description box below. My website, how to schedule a session, my newsletter. You can become a part of my Soulscription. This is where I also go live every Sunday and give you the week ahead, the astrology and the energies. Again, you can find everything linked in the description box below. And for those of you that are into gemstones, Otter Spirit is having their Black Friday sale a little bit early. I'll have more information on that at the very end of this video, but it is also, my unique URL is also linked in the description box below. You can receive a discount through that. A question that I receive often is, how can I protect my energy? And there are various ways that you can work on energy protection. I'll also link a video in the description box that I recorded many years back with some obvious and maybe not so obvious ways that you can protect your energy on the regular. But in the meantime, I do love gemstone jewelry. This one that I have on is from Otter Spirit. It's the protection pack. It's black lava, hematite, and black tourmaline, which are three of the most grounding and protective stones. Their pre-Black Friday sale is going on right now. Now let's get right down to it. The Taurus full moon takes place on November 15th, but right before the full moon peaks, we're going to have the planet Saturn, the planet of time and boundaries and rules and regulations. Saturn is like the reality check planet. We have Saturn stationing direct. So hours before the full moon, Saturn will station direct. Saturn direct will likely bring to you some sort of a reality check. It could be very subtle, very soft, or it could be something more loud and more obvious. But I look at this as a positive thing. Saturn retrograde, Saturn direct, none of it's bad. It's part of time. It's part of the energy. It's part of what we have to go through. There's always a reevaluation process that takes place when Saturn's retrograde. And now Saturn will be stationing direct. And this is a Taurus full moon that's coming up. So there will be some sort of real, tangible result or results that you can receive for yourself. Something becomes that much more clear to you. We can also experience this on the collective level. Saturn is also the planet of karma. So karma eventually catches up to everyone, for better or worse. Consequence for actions past. Now this Taurus full moon, which takes place on November 15th, is like a frequency check-in. That's how I'm thinking about it. It's more about pulling the energy, pulling the focus back onto self, to the body, to the way that you feel. It's a check-in with your values, your personal values, and your virtue. There's a very strong energy of get real with this Taurus full moon. The moon is what we call exalted in the sign of Taurus. It is one of the most comfortable placements for the moon. And it's one of my personal favorites. And no, I don't have a Taurus moon, but I just love the moon in Taurus. It's very comfortable here, typically, very cozy. And it's also very invested on self-soothing and on what we can feel, what's real. It's very much connected to the senses, to the physical. So this is a full moon that we feel. We really do feel it, for better or worse. Taurus is a practical earth sign. It's very solid. It's very stable. It is very much of a get real kind of an energy. And then when we put Saturn stationing direct right at the heels of this full moon in Taurus, it just really drives that point home that much further. This reality check energy, this, rolling up our sleeves. What do we still need to do? What do we still need to get done? What do we want to get done? What's coming to light for you under these energies? You're going to want to look to the part of your birth chart that contains Taurus. And again, linked in the description box, I have a tutorial that shows you how you can identify the degree of where this full moon will fall for you. And I'll also go through it quickly by sign here in this video. But as full moons are always about release, this is the point of the lunar cycle where the sun sits in exact opposition to the moon. That's how we have a full moon. So the sun is currently residing in the sign of Scorpio, and this full moon will be in the sign of Taurus. This will happen at 24 degrees. In the third decan of Taurus, or the final third of Taurus, which also brings in more of a Capricorn type of an energy. This is solidity and this is stability. We'll talk more about that as we move along, but Capricorn is also ruled by Saturn. Again, more emphasis on the fact that there is a lot of practical energy that we can use around this full moon, a lot of results coming in, situations coming to light, a lot of reflection that is taking place, also a lot of emotion. This is also a supermoon. This is the fourth supermoon that we have had in a row. Supermoon is a fancy way of saying that the moon is basically at perigee, which is the closest point to the earth that the moon can be, which is why it appears so much more brighter and so much more luminous at the time of these supermoons, because it is literally closer to the earth. When we have a supermoon, the moon actually appears quite a percentage larger than a typical full moon. While everyone will experience the full moon and everybody will feel the full moon feels are real, especially the 3 to 5 days leading up to the full moon when the energy is the most potent. So we will all be experiencing this, but it will be felt that much more strongly if you are a Taurus, a Scorpio, a Leo, or Aquarius, also a Virgo or Capricorn, and even more strongly if any of your points or placements fall between 22 and 26 degrees of any of those signs. Now remember, I have a lot of content. A lot of it is free. Some of it is paid. You can find all of that by going to my website and going under the courses tab. I have downloads there. I have a free downloadable guide through the houses of the birth chart. I also have a 3-part tutorial which will basically walk you through how to identify new moons and full moons in your birth chart along with tracking transits. You can also go right to my website and scroll down to where it says free birth chart, and you can obtain your birth chart there. And then every day, my site actually updates the current transits, the current planets, everything going on in the sky, along with the current moon phase. So you can also track that there every single day. Again, for free. And also be sure to check out the video linked in the description box below about how we all have each sign in our birth chart, because it'll just help you understand that much more how these full moons and new moons can play out for you more personally. So again, this is the fourth supermoon in a row. It's a full moon. It's intense. Full moons are always going to be a culmination, a turning point. These are points of deep reflection and release. This is about setting intentions to let go of what is no longer serving your soul, serving your spirit, any habits, any behaviors, because things tend to and will often come up under full moon energy. That which has been in the dark is now coming to light under the illumination of the full moon. We can't hide in the darkness anymore in one or more areas of life when we come into these points of the lunar cycle. And a lot of times this is just more on the personal level, more on the emotional level, something that comes into awareness for you. Each and every single full moon is not going to land the same way for you. So please know that. Having said that, the energy is very heightened. Intuition, very heightened. Awareness, very heightened. Energy and emotions are very heightened. Out in the headlines, we can absolutely be hearing a lot more about the Taurian areas of life the week of this full moon, especially around the full moon on the 15th. Taurus is all about the food supply. Taurus is about money. Taurus is about banking. So is the opposite sign of Scorpio. The Earth's resources. Because the sun is in the opposite sign of Scorpio, Scorpio is also a sign connected to secrets, connected to elimination, and connected to exposure. We've got Pluto still grinding at that 29th degree, overturning a lot of situations, a lot of systems, a lot of hidden agendas coming to light. There will be more of that over these next few weeks. But I would expect that finances are going to play a huge part around this full moon. Information regarding finances, and this might even land for you personally in some capacity. Your own relationship to your finances, relationship that you have with others that involve finances, joint assets, things of that nature. Real estate, taxes, inheritances, all of that could come to fruition, or something could come to light for you under this full moon regarding these areas of life. Also a lot surrounding the physical body, as Taurus is all about the body. Taurus also rules over our voice, our throat, our vocal cords. And Taurus is also about where we can be rigid. It's a sign of fixed earth. So it's where we can be rigid, where we might get stuck in our ways. Taurus likes to be rooted and doesn't really love change, especially unexpected change. But this full moon is absolutely buzzing with change. So around this full moon, ask yourself, especially by taking it one step further and going to your birth chart to where Taurus falls, ask yourself, where am I too rigid in these areas of my life? Where have I been playing it too safe and being afraid? Where have I been afraid, Scorpio, to expand, to let myself go, to let go of control? Where might I need to let go of control? There will likely be some triggering circumstances or emotions around this full moon that will lead you into these thought processes anyway. I highly recommend that you get outside, get out into nature. Taurus is all about the earth, nature. Touch the trees, touch some grass, smell the earth, stare at the sky, be grateful and thankful for another day on this planet. Be grateful for the planet, Mother Earth. Set intentions of how you're going to help to take care of yourself more, therefore helping to take care of the collective more in a more stronger manner. Ripple effect energy. It's very important to ground. Come back to earth, come back to center. There's a lot going on right now. Check in with self is a very strong message around this Taurus full moon. One of the more important messages around this full moon. Check in with self, check in with your body. How are you feeling? Where might you be out of balance, out of harmony? Take spiritual stock and inventory. Real quick before I pull up the chart, this is from my September through December forecast. November 15th, I mentioned Saturn stations direct. This happens at 9:21 a.m. Eastern Time at 12 degrees and 42 minutes of Pisces. Again, Saturn is about many things, but a lot of it revolves around karma and karmic implications. You're definitely going to want to check your chart and check for where you have, or if you have, anything between 12 and 14 degrees of the mutable signs, which are Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and or Sagittarius. Look to these areas of life. See what has been going on for you. What have you been reviewing? What have you been reevaluating? And what kind of higher awareness has come into effect for you at this point? For everyone else, you can just check the part of your chart that contains Pisces. And again, refer back to my downloadable guide through the houses to see what those areas of life have shown you. What has come up for you? What work have you been doing? Etc. Here is the Taurus full moon, and I'm going to pull up the chart on the software in just a moment. It takes place November 15th. At 4:28 p.m. Eastern Time at 24 degrees of Taurus. Strongest for Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, also Capricorn and Virgo, and specifically points or placements that fall between 22 and 26 degrees of any of these signs. And here are the houses or the departments of life where this full moon will take place for you by your rising sign. I always suggest you follow that first. So for Aries, it's the second house, Taurus, it's the first, Gemini the 12th, Cancer the 11th, Leo the 10th, Virgo the 9th, Libra the 8th, Scorpio the 7th, Sagittarius the 6th, Capricorn the 5th, Aquarius the 4th, and Pisces the 3rd. The tarot card associated with this full moon, this third decan of Taurus, is the Seven of Pentacles. Now, sevens are all about assessment and reflection. It's also about our motives, our own spiritual journey, the wisdom that we've obtained up until this point. It's a time of observation, investigation. It's also a point of discovery and knowledge when we get to seven. Sevens represent faith, and that's important because right now especially, it's about faith in that which we cannot see, but nevertheless we know that it exists. Sevens are also indicative of introspection and or solitude. Pentacles are tangible. These are earth-based. These are coins. So again, this can pull in emphasis of money, finances, also a reassessment and a reevaluation of that, of our own money, of our relationship to money, of the collective financial systems in general overall. And again, I'm pretty sure we're going to be hearing a lot about that around this full moon. The stock market, debts, taxes, loans, food, it's all here. With the Seven of Pentacles, there's a reassessment, a tremendous reassessment taking place on the physical level, yes, but also on the spiritual level. So check in with self. Allow yourself some time for reflection and or solitude, and I highly recommend that you do that in nature as we are under a Taurus full moon. Here's the chart, the Taurus full moon, November 15th, 4:28 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are looking at the chart, definitely set it for your location. Here we have the sun at 24 degrees of Scorpio and the moon exactly opposite at 24 degrees of Taurus. The strongest aspect to this moon is the planet Uranus right here at 25 degrees of Taurus conjunct the moon opposite the sun. So the Uranian energy is very strong right now. What does that mean? Well, Uranus is a planet of shock, of eccentricity, of disruption, of a little bit of chaos. It's also a planet of electricity. The air will definitely be feeling very electric at this time. It already is. Twists and turns of energy. Expect the unexpected. Uranus is also an energy of freedom and change and liberation. Higher truths coming to the surface. Higher awareness. A stronger spiritual understanding of events, of situations, of energies. Uranus is being triggered by this full moon. This can also be an increase in seismic activity, unfortunately. This is also a supermoon, which has a stronger pull on the tectonic plates. Gravity in general. We could see a lot coming up around water. It's a supermoon, conjunct Uranus. Needless to say, it will feel exciting. Hopefully the change and the unexpected change will be for the best. And hopefully it'll come through for you as excitement. If it even lands personally for you at all. It might not. I would expect some pretty shocking headlines around this full moon. A little bit of disruption, unsettled emotions. Again, bring it back to the earth, get back outside, come back to center. There could also be and will likely be drops and dips with the weather, with the temperatures, unexpected. But in the highest vibration, Uranus is all about the activation of the higher mind, divine inspiration, divine insights, divine downloads coming through, especially through the dream space, higher awareness and higher truths. Also extraterrestrial and galactic activity. This is all under Uranus's domain and in such a close alignment with the full moon, which is a supermoon. This could just all be very enhanced. Again, watch the headlines. Here's Saturn, now direct at 12 degrees of Pisces. He's pretty much at a standstill, even though he's just stationary direct. So this is very strong energy, eyes wide open, reality checks, in some cases, reality punches. Regardless, it's time to sort with Saturn being direct around this full moon. It's time to sort our own thoughts. It's time to sort karma. Saturn in Pisces, this is about our own spiritual understanding, our own spiritual structure. Again, faith over fear. I've been saying this a lot the past few months. I'm going to drive that point home again. Saturn in Pisces, faith over fear. Remember, Saturn is still keeping tabs on everything right now. We have Mercury over here at 16 degrees of Sagittarius. A little debilitated. Mercury doesn't love to be in Sagittarius and can already feel scattered and confused here. But Mercury is also in its shadow period, its pre-retrograde shadow as of November 7th. Mercury is getting ready to station direct at the end of November on the 25th. And Mercury is in a square to Saturn, which is a tense aspect. So this could feel like our own thoughts are being slowed down. We're having a hard time articulating our thoughts into words. Especially if you are a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, you might really feel this energy. So it's another reminder just to take it inward, slow down, be good to yourself. Take time to think. Just know that things won't feel so clear right now. A lot can feel like it's halted at the moment, both personally and collectively, quiet, even eerily so. We've got Jupiter over here at 19 degrees of Gemini, also in a square to Saturn, albeit it's wide, but this is going to become more exact as we get towards the end of the year, the end of December. So there could be a lot of conversations regarding restrictions and or control. This can happen in your personal life. This could also be on the collective level. There's this reality, this realistic energy that there's more work to be done, more to be told, more to the story. Also with Jupiter retrograde, there's a lot of energy around our own personal beliefs, our own belief systems. It can feel very scattered and indecisive right now. So just remember that you are allowed to change your belief systems. You're allowed to expand your mind, explore other possibilities, other ideas, other outcomes. In fact, you're supposed to be right now. That's how we grow. That's how we evolve spiritually. That's what we're here to do. So again, ask yourself, what do I need to release to feel more grounded, more in my body, and more true and authentic to myself, regardless of what anyone else thinks? Mercury is also in opposition to Jupiter. So again, this is all about the bigger picture, what lies ahead, the future. This is not a very comfortable energy with Mercury and Jupiter in the positions that they're in. They're in what we call mutual reception because Mercury favors Gemini and Jupiter favors Sagittarius. So they're opposite here in their rulership. So they're trying to make things work. They're trying to make sense of things, but a lot just doesn't make sense. And again, this will feel especially strong for you if you're Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, or Sagittarius. But we're all feeling it collectively, especially when it comes to the bigger picture, especially when it comes to communication and information, understanding things at a deeper level. And then Mars over here is in a sesqui-square to Jupiter. So again, this is just a little bit more tension, actions being thwarted, feeling like we want to fight, but not even necessarily knowing what we're fighting for or what we're fighting over or about in some cases. But there's a lot of energy here, a lot of heat. Positively speaking, you can use this energy to fuel your own passions, your own goals. So with Mercury in a square to Saturn, and then Saturn in a square to Jupiter, which is a T-square, Jupiter's opposite Mercury. And this will be getting closer as we move along. But the idea of it, the energy of it, it's the periphery right now that we're feeling, that we're experiencing. So there could be some types of communication surrounding reality, the current reality, surrounding restrictions and or control. Can be. The ruler of this full moon is Venus because Venus rules the sign of Taurus. And Venus is now in Capricorn. Here's Venus sitting at 4 degrees of Capricorn at the time of this full moon. Capricorn is a fellow Earth buddy to the sign of Taurus. Venus in Capricorn will always pose the question, is it worth it? Is what I am doing, is what I am working on, is this relationship, this goal, is it worth it? What's the end game? That's what the Venus in Capricorn energy pulls in. It's got an air of practicality. It has to make sense. Practical value. This is where integrity is acknowledged and honored. Venus is the divine feminine. Venus is also about justice, Venus is also about equality, and Venus is about relationships. The South Node in Libra. Libra is also ruled by Venus. Again, relationships, the others in our lives, social equality, justice and/or injustice. Venus is in a square to the nodes. Venus is squaring the South Node in Libra and also the North Node in Aries. This is a T-square. This is tension. This is heat. This is friction surrounding the rules, the regulations, what's fair, what's right. And then we have Mars over here at 3 degrees of Leo. And Mars is in an aspect to Venus referred to as a quincunx or an inconjunct. This is the divine feminine, which is Venus, and the divine masculine, which is Mars, trying to come to some sort of agreement, trying to get on each other's page. But it's a little challenging right now. It's a little divisive. The reminder here, the message is to stay in your integrity above all else. Because where Venus is squaring off with the nodes, Mars is actually supporting the nodes. We've got Mars in Leo, sextiling the South Node in Libra, and also then trining the North Node in Aries. So again, there is bigger picture energy of wanting to adjust, wanting to get along, wanting things to be right and just, equality. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that as the highest vibration here. Ultimately, peace. This could also pull in unrest when it comes to the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. I believe we're already feeling that and experiencing that. We just have to wait. We have to wait and see. And that is one of the stronger messages of the Mars-Venus quincunx here. And as they aspect the nodes of the moon, the destiny points, the future and the past. Jupiter at 19 of Gemini in an exact sextile to Chiron at 19 of Aries. This is medicinal energy. This is about going within and recognizing you are your own healing balm. Trying to stay above, trying to stay optimistic, recognizing that it all serves a purpose. To pull it back to the sun at 24 degrees of Scorpio, secrets are still being revealed, strong scorpionic energy, things coming up from the underworld, coming to the light of day, exposure, and in some cases, elimination. We have Eris, the goddess of discord, in an exact inconjunct to the sun in Scorpio. This is energy of we must be heard. We must all be heard. We all have a voice. We all have something to say. We all want to stand up and fight for what is ours, to protect it, to fight for what we believe in. A very strong energy around this full moon. Perhaps some protesting. Somewhere in your personal reality, this could come up as no more, taking a stand for yourself in a specific relationship. Relationships are of high focus around this full moon. Is this serving me? What is my value? What is their value in my life? How does this line up with my integrity, my morals? How is my money? Another way that we can experience this energy, especially as we have Venus in a square to both the north and the south nodes of the moon, and there's a high emphasis on relationships of all kinds. The south node's been in Libra. It's moving towards the end of its trajectory here. So there's an acceleration, an accelerated energy of a wrap up, of a closeout of specific cycles in relationships, or the closing out of specific relationships in general. There's an honor and a recognition of the feelings around them, the karma. And as the saying goes, nothing goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. And as Saturn is very prevalent around this full moon, there are a lot of wake-up calls surrounding one or more relationships in our lives. Uranus is involved, so these could be surprising realizations, things that you might not be expecting to acknowledge or experience on a deeper level. You can hear from people from the past that you are not expecting to hear from. You can run into them unexpectedly, although it's expected and choreographed by your higher self, because there's still some closure that needs to occur, some karma here that needs to be sorted and or worked through, even if you don't agree with that. The ego self might not agree with it, but the spiritual self knows at a very deep divine level what needs to happen, what needs to occur so that you can be set free, either literally or emotionally, and in some cases, both. I have something deeper that I want to talk about and that I want to get into here. So I guess you could say that I saved the best for last. The moon here at 24 degrees of Taurus is in a trine to Pluto here at the 29th degree of Capricorn. Pluto at that 29th degree, a turnover. A crisis point, the 29th degree, exposure, renewal, realizations, release, secrets being exposed, a complete deconstruction to reconstruct, a rebirth, strong energy of rebirth and renewal. I have to put emphasis on Pluto again. Pluto is not going to be in this position for another 200 years. None of us will ever experience this energy again, at least not in this lifetime. Huge wake-up calls here, huge transformations and realizations. Personally, of course, but especially on the collective level. We are building a new Earth, rebuilding. restructuring, the tearing down of the old paradigms to bring forth the new life. That will feel disruptive for a while. So this full moon is in a trine to Pluto. Uranus is in a trine to Pluto. This Uranus-Pluto energy is all about personal power and personal change, personal power for change and for evolution, evolution of self, evolution of society. It's about our soul purpose. It's a pulse check, like I mentioned earlier, not only personally for self, but it's a pulse check for our country, for our nation. We also have Uranus in a sextile to Neptune right here. This brings in an energy of hope, of soft hope. It's a softer energy. It's also an energy where illusions can be shattered. Collectively speaking, I think we're all experiencing this to varying degrees. The sun is here at 24 degrees of Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. And the sun is also in a trine to Neptune, which is a supportive aspect. And Neptune here at 27 degrees is in a sextile to Pluto. This has been an ongoing energy, this Neptune-Pluto sextile. It's been ongoing for years, but it's really strong within this configuration of planets. All of this to say, we've got this opposition of the moon and the sun. We have the two trines, Uranus trine to Pluto, and the sun trine Neptune. And then we have three sextiles, which are very smooth, blessed energies operating in the background here. We have Uranus in a sextile to Neptune, we have Neptune in a sextile to Pluto, and we have Pluto in a sextile to the sun. This brings in a configuration of planets referred to as a cradle, which is the opposition, the trines, and the sextiles. It's mostly supportive energy. So I encourage you to think of what is going on collectively right now, bigger picture thinking, okay? It's beneficial in the long run, bigger picture developments. The moon in mundane astrology rules over the people, but the moon is also very personal. It's our internal energy, our emotional hardwiring. The sun right now in Scorpio is very deep, very intense. It brings up a lot of feelings around this full moon, and some of those feelings can be feelings of rage. And this is why I bring this up. I invite you to remember that underneath it all, working under the surface, pulse check. The goal is to reconstruct, to ascend higher, to evolve as a collective. We're still operating under this Pluto-Mars opposition, and we will be all the way through April of 2025. All of this to say, we are under a time of powerful shifts of consciousness and collective waking up. So whatever is going on outside of you, outside of all of us, think of the bigger picture. How can it support the bigger picture? And how can we support the bigger picture as a collective? This particular full moon pulls in a lot of water and earth energy. Water is flow and earth is solidity. This is supporting us right now. So to take it back to the very beginning where I said it's a frequency check, it's a spiritual pulse check. It's, yes, personally so to do that, but even more so on the collective level. Stay strong, stay united, and I will leave you with the tagline that I used on my weekly forecast, which you can subscribe to by becoming a Soul Scriber, newsletter link below. But my tagline for this upcoming week of 11/11 through 11/17 is don't close, the divine knows. I will bring that back to faith over fear, faith in the unseen, knowing that we are under very chaotic times right now. Globally, there is a lot changing underneath our feet, day to day, minute to minute, but we're in it. We're here. We're breathing. Pulse check. Love yourself. Love one another. Be kind. Allow people to have their emotions while you have yours. There's no need to police other people's emotions. Therefore, they should not police yours. I know it's hard not to involve ourselves in wanting to assert our opinion. And if you can do that peacefully, that's fantastic. But a lot of individuals cannot do that. Unfortunately, what we see in the collective energy is that that's not really the case right now. There's a lot of divisiveness. It's important to come back to center and recognize what's truly important right now, your people and your place in the world. It's what we do in here that ripples outward. I hope that this was helpful. Much love, take really good care, and I'll be back soon. Hello, everyone. If you are a lover of gemstone jewelry, much like myself, you have to check out Otter Spirit. This is a small family-owned and operated company based out of Monterey Bay, California, which is home to the wild sea otter, hence the name. The sea otter was close to extinction, but due to conservation efforts, they are slowly recovering. And another wonderful thing about Otter Spirit, besides the beautiful jewelry, is for every bracelet that you purchase, $1 will go towards the protection of the sea otter. I am wearing the Taurus Zodiac 3-pack. I have Zebra Jasper, Rainbow Tourmaline, and one of my personal favorites, African Turquoise. You can shop by zodiac sign, you can shop by intention, you can shop by gemstone. They've got earrings, they've got bracelets, they've got necklaces, and they are authentic. In fact, over 80% of their gemstones are rated AAA, which means superior. And they make great gifts. They're beautifully packaged. Be sure to check them out. You can use my customized URL link below and or my discount code, LisaSalvatore20. Happy shopping!